I know I'm late with this review, but I wanted to experience a full mini pass first, so let's start with the progression. I see some people upset with the mini pass, specifically the Grand Warden being at tier 39. Now let me remind you that not any other Supercell games offer the new hero for free, and they definitely do not put it on tier 1, so in my opinion the Grand Warden's placement is justified. One might say, but the daily quests and weekly quests don't give that much tokens. Well, I believe this is for the best, because I think having the season quests that do not expire be the one with the most tokens is good for people that join late in the season. I do have a suggestion to speed it up though that I'll talk about later in the video. Mini Pass is definitely a good part of this update. Then the events. While I was not a big fan of the selection of this update, since they all feel uninspired, I guess would be the word, and the new event pass system in my opinion is amazing. Having it be short and sweet is really great. You really only need to win like 7 or 8 games to get to the end. Admittedly, the rewards are not perfect, but I feel like they are fine compared to the low effort they take to get. I do find it weird that tier 21 has nothing for free to play players, and I think we should get something there. Perhaps my suggestion would be 10 gems. Reason is 10 gems a week is not much, and it's like 480 gems a year, which is just one hero skin every 2 years. Also, that will make the events feel super exciting, and people will make sure to log in to never miss their only source of free gems. Events are a good part of this update. Now raids are a different story. I don't know why they got nerfed, but they got nerfed so bad that even I stopped playing them. Yes, it's this bad. The rewards were already bad, and I don't know why they needed to be nerfed even more. What's worse is that it's only available on level 35 or higher, which is insanely weird for me, to be honest, because like, what would a level 35 player need from those rewards? I would expect everyone to be fully maxed by then. Raids are definitely an ugly part of this update. Boxes are great now. The 500 crystal coin box has some amazing odds, so it's almost always a cosmetic. No duplicates, that's like a blessing. The luck box is a bit harsh on terms of odds, but the fact that it's on the final tier of the mini pass makes it a bit justified. I've opened 14 of them and got like 4 cosmetics, so it's not like the odds are really that bad. Boxes are a good part of this update. Gameplay now, and let's discuss ladder. The new ladder is just so good. Having the avatar at 3k motivated me to push up there, which was a frustrating experience due to the meta, but more on that later. I still enjoyed getting this avatar and flexing it on other players, and the skin at 2000 trophies is just a nice addition for less dedicated players to enjoy a smaller milestone. And looking here in the collection, we have 2 avatars saying trophy roads, and making a new account it shows 3 skins saying special occasions, being the Valkyrie, the Golden Giant Diver skin, and the guard chest one. If my predictions are correct, those avatars and skins should be coming for the season 2 and season 3 of this update, which I believe season 2 should be out by the time this video is ready, so we will see if I was wrong or right. Ladder is definitely a good part of this update. Now for the meta, I'm gonna keep this like kinda simple. This is like the worst meta I've ever played. I would say it's even worse than the Electro Wizard season 1 meta. Now what is ladder without win streaks? The removal of trophies from win streaks makes sense, but it also bothers me a bit. Win streaks were a unique thing for this game, and having them go away is just so sad. But I do understand how they badly influenced the ladder experience, so I came up with a solution for the developers here. Add 3 season tokens as a reward for win streaks. This will both help make it a bit easier to go through the mini pass, and also will keep one of the most unique features of the game relevant. I'll consider their removal a bad part of this update, because they deserved better. Now for rumbles, I do like the new draft format, but I have an issue with it after the update in general. Having no movement on rumbles is just depressing, because it kills the whole point of the game mode. I think having game modes with 3 or more players enable movements would make sense, and locking them behind a high level will fix the confusion for new players. Also, there is the trophy glitch that made the matchmaking go for hours, because literally no one is playing that mode anymore. Rumbles, I'd say, a bad part of this update. Frenzy mode. Aside from the timer, I have some other issues. I believe it should start at 25 seconds and last for just 5 seconds as a match finisher instead of a whole section that applies every single round. I also don't like the fact that having a stun happen 1 frame before it starts would last the whole duration. It just feels like it's over if that happens. I do prefer it over the old sudden death as a general concept, but I feel like it's so flawed in this current state and heavily favors some minis. Frenzy was sadly a bad part of this update. Another gameplay issues I have is inconsistencies. For example, two prints colliding will cause one of them to stay there and the other one will go to the opposite side of the map. Things like this used to not really feel so bad before the no movement, but after this update it feels more punishing. Another example for this, when you have a Mega Knight and they have a Golden Giant, sometimes your Mega Knight will walk and that will be so bad for your opponent, and some other times their Golden Giant will walk, which is so bad for you. And it seems like this is completely random on who walks and who doesn't, which is so terrible because it makes the game a bit unpredictable. I actually have a solution for this, which involves adding weights to minis. Let's say Mega Knight is the most heavy mini in the game, like Giant Skeleton is lighter than him. If they both stand there, then the lighter mini should always move one tile to the front and the heavy one will always be the one waiting. Another example, let's say the Barbarian is not at all heavy while the Giant Skeleton is heavier. That means if they are standing like this, then the Barbarian will always be the one that will come to the Giant Skeleton. I know this system is not super perfect since we have a lot of minis, so instead of adding a weight value to all of them, how about we use the max HP value? This will make it easier to remember by everyone and will be more straightforward. More max HP equal less chance of moving. This will add strategy in upgrading something to make it heavier so it pulls stuff to it instead of moving to them. I truly believe this HP weight system is needed, and if any of the developers have any questions about it, feel free to message me at any time. These inconsistencies are an ugly part of this update. Another gameplay issue is the range. Ever since update 7, a lot of minis lost their infinite range capabilities. Also, at the same time, they got a massive HP buff, like the Magic Archer is so goddamn tanky now, it's absurd. I don't know why this was done. I mean, they feel more like a semi-melee mini at this point, and also that made melee minis like Ghost and Mega Knight way stronger. And as a personal addition, Queen used to be my favorite hero, but I don't enjoy playing it anymore because of that change. I just don't like how these minis, especially Archer, completely lost their identity. The range rework was a bad part of this update. The final gameplay issue I have, sometimes let's say I placed a guard on round 1. On round 2, I placed some minis and tried to clean up my shop, but I accidentally upgraded the guard. Now I have no way of undoing that upgrade even though I played it on this exact round. I just don't see a reason behind this not being an option, so please fix this issue as soon as possible. We don't really need to be this unforgiving with accidental upgrades. This is another bad part of this update. Now to the section of me rambling about random stuff in the game. First one is the emote chat bubble. I don't know man, it just, before the update, the emote felt like a sticker. Now it feels like a chat bubble with an emoji on it. I don't know, it just looks so ugly now. I know it's not a big deal, but I really wish this would get reverted, to be honest. Now replays. Amazing feature, absolute 10 out of 10, I love it so much. I'm just a little bit upset it's not on friendlies, but that's still bare bones version of it, so I'll give you all some more time on it. I do have a problem with it though. Look in here, in real gameplay you can see the minis being dragged and dropped and they look so alive. In replays it feels like so bland because they just appear randomly. Now I'm not asking the devs to register all the weird movement that happened like this. All I'm asking them to do is just to implement a direct animation of the mini being dragged from the box to the tile he was placed on, even if it was not the same animation I did in the real game. I just think it's better than it suddenly appearing somewhere. I don't know how possible this one would be, I'm not a programmer, but hopefully it's something that is doable. And finally, tile rotation. Tiles by themselves are both a hit and a miss, since some of them are bad but some of them are good. My main beef with this is the rotation makes testing things and making videos near impossible. I know not everyone makes videos and definitely not everyone tests things, so it barely affects anyone, but I really want the option to pick tiles and friendly matches. That would be so good for everyone in my opinion, especially for competitive scene. Thanks for listening to all the complaints, my dude.